Yep.
Ready? Yeah.
Entertain the village and talk about shit we stole. Hey, it's rage and pillage. Interviewing all the players, every place we filled and reminiscing on the days that we made a killing. Burley, no chill, man. Got the Viking mindset. Bring the minds to your buildings, leaving fire behind us. So reminder, we drink till the drink diminish. Give a fuck what you think. Came to rage and pillage.
Oh, hell yeah, bitches. Fucking back. Rage and Pillage podcast, motherfuckers.
Hell yeah.
As always, I'm your host, Burley. And I'm joined by...
the vibe curator. The frequency elevator.
Uh-huh.
Black Brother Thunder.
The Black Brother.
The Chocolate Boy Wonder.
Oh, hell yeah. Josh is here. What's up, brother?
What's going on, fellas?
We are joined by an OG of Burley After Dark. An OG. He's one of the guys that used to hop on every fucking time at 2 a.m. when Burley was hammered and would fucking just start spewing his nonsense online. It was fucking great. And then we haven't talked for a while, and I was cruising my TikTok, and one of his videos showed up. It was a long-ass video, and I was fucking captivated. This dude's got a fucking story. So Zack from Brother Mac's Barbecue is fucking here. What's up, brother?
What up, bub? Yeah, been a long time coming, man. Good to be here. And, dude, and I was trying to talk to my wife about how long ago we were jumping on those lives, and it was when I lived in my old house. And I've lived here for like a year, dude. So it's been a cool minute. It's been a cool minute. Long time coming.
Not to give out any details of what we're going to talk about later, but there were still remnants on your upper eyebrow of your old ways back when we were talking.
Yeah, it's about gone now.
Yeah, way
Not
back
gone.
then, there was still a little bit there, and I would call it out. You'd be like, I don't want to talk about it. But we're going to talk about it tonight, brother. We're going to talk about it tonight. Oh, hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
What you drinking on tonight, Josh?
Josh? Just a same old, man. Bush Light and a little bit of FB.
Oh, hell yeah. Little FB action. What about you, Zack?
I got some keeping it safe with the Bud Light, and I got a little bit of Sprite and bourbon in here.
Oh, hell yes. Everybody comes prepared when they know what's the deal. Some of these new guests, they come in, they're drinking water. I'm like, the fuck are you doing? So
I got water too.
Oh, you know, that's gayer than monkeypox, dude.
This is your first time.
Well, dude, I something happened yesterday, and I got to bring this up before we get into like your life story and stuff. And this is something that I have to ask everybody. I got to share my screen right quick. Oh, that's not the right button. Goddamn. Okay. I want to preface this with your boy has been at it since 2. So I'm ready to fucking rock. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and
Oh, you bastard.
yeah, we're gonna go ahead and share this screen for the YouTube generation out there. So this is a guy who's we're gonna refresh it. This is a guy who is opening up a sheep's stomach. Can y'all see that well?
No, it's a cow stomach.
Oh yeah, cow stomach. And he's
Okay.
getting the partially
I can see it, yeah.
the partially digested grass out of it. Okay? Let's get a little music going. So he made a bunch of little hamburger looking situations out of it. He's grilling them up. Then he adds some wood to it. I tested this question out on somebody yesterday, and it worked out well. So, you eating that, guys?
Fuck. No, dude.
No, probably not. I mean, if I had to survive, but not by choice, bub.
But okay, let's up the ante just a cunt hair.
Welcome to the show, Zach.
Yeah. Let's up the ante. I'm watching this right now and I'm intrigued. Okay. What if we could guarantee 10 extra healthy years of life? You just got to eat that once a week.
I'd probably be down because then I wouldn't have to quit smoking to get those extra 10
Boom.
years.
Okay. Yeah. What about you, Josh? You have to quit vaping?
Okay.
Or-
I was about to say, well, fine. Then I guess I'll eat that as long as I can keep drinking and my liver stays fine.
It's only for 10 extra years.
That's fine.
You're eating it straight just like
That's
that?
a lot of beer.
Sure, why not?
Once a week. You're good with you. How much you... Let's say it's 5 of those patties you got to eat in one sitting.
Nah,
Are y'all's stomachs that strong?
I don't know, dude. I can't even eat ketchup, so I don't know.
Well, it's because you're not a child. You're not a child. It's sugar paste.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Five of them at one time.
5 of them in a sitting once a week.
God.
Okay.
For 10 extra years, I don't know.
Let's up the ante.
I don't know.
And this is perfect. So shout out to Brooke. That was friend of the show. Fucking this. I ran this question past her, and she had me laughing out loud with her responses. But okay, you get to pick one ingredient to mix with it, but now we're gonna dilute it a little bit though, right? You don't want to eat just 5 of those patties. Still gotta eat 5 of them. We're gonna split it between 2 days, and you get one ingredient to mix it into a shake.
A shake?
A shake. Now you have to drink it.
Nah.
Are you going back to eating 5 patties?
Honestly, I think I would rather chug it than eat it.
All right. What?
Dude,
What's,
I might just skip it and start going to the gym to get those extra 10 years.
You're not getting an extra 10 years. No. It's no matter what you do, you're getting 10 extra healthy years. Not in the back end where you're like you want to die. It's the ones where you're like happy to be alive. Those.
Yeah.
That's the ones we're talking
Like
about.
it takes
here.
me back to being 25.
Exactly. Your happiest or most healthiest time, that's what you get. You get 10 years of that as long as you eat it twice a week or once a week if you're eating 5 patties.
I'm doing it.
The shake or the
Yeah,
eating? Eating or shaking?
Either one.
Because you gotta chew.
I think
You're gonna
probably
get used to it. You're gonna get used to it.
You
either
gotta
way.
chew
Yeah.
with the. You gotta chew with the eating though.
Yeah, but you dunk it in some
All right,
barbecue
so-
sauce and.
Oh
you
no!
know.
Hold on. What?
All the additives only with the shakes.
You know, additives only with the shakes.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
I'm going shake because I feel like I can get the shake. Down
What do you add?
Little
to-
may come up faster too, though.
Oh hell
See,
yeah!
the problem is we're just assuming it's nasty. Who knows? You might eat it.
Yeah,
It might be
exactly.
fucking amazing, right?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It could because we're gonna get used to it. So
Oh shit, Josh, did you test the feed? Nobody
shit,
tested the feed. But yeah, dude, fucking I can't imagine. I'm gonna take 10 years off my life. Fuck it, dude. Like I there's no way.
We're live because I'm looking at it right now.
We always test the sound though. Every once in a while we get funky sound.
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, fucking are y'all's stomachs that strong?
Mine's not.
What's the weirdest
Mine's
thing you ever
not,
ate?
for sure.
You've been overseas. What's the weirdest thing you ever ate?
I mean, nothing crazy, honestly. I mean, we'd eat like goat and stuff. Sometimes, like the locals would, they'd have goat meat on like that thing that spins around and they shave it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but eat some of that. But
Gyro meat, lamb meat.
Hold on. You're North or South California? You're in California.
yeah, I'm in the Central Valley. I'm in California, unfortunately. I'm in the Central Valley, which I guess it would be considered Northern California, but we're not north, like close to Oregon north.
What major city are you close to? Closest to, I should say.
Stockton's like an hour away.
Hey, fucking
Yeah.
shout out Diaz.
Yeah, my town where we live at, it's not a big California city. It's like 70,000 people.
It's pretty big.
It's like like a smaller. I mean, not small, but it's like a big farming town, basically, big agriculture town.
You want to hear
Or
something?
it was until about 20 years ago.
You want to hear something wild?
Yeah.
What's the population of your town, Josh?
I'm doing it right now because I knew you were about to say it.
This is gonna blow your fucking mind, Zach.
This is 2020. It's probably a little bit more than this now. 2020 was 854.
Oh, see, that's the town. That's what I'm trying to move to. Is that in Texas?
So I think
Nah, he's in Alabama.
I'm in Alabama.
Yeah.
Dude.
So
Bro,
I think we're probably over 1,000 now.
See, so we're-
You just hit 4 digits. They threw a fucking parade.
But yeah, we're I'm trying to get my family and escape California, and we looked a lot at Alabama around the Huntsville area, outside
That's
the
about-
Huntsville area.
Huntsville's pretty big. I mean, they're about 3.5 hours away from me, north of me.
Yeah.
You're probably thinking about work too, though, right?
Yeah, for sure. But the main thing is just escaping California, and my family's from Alabama. My dad came out to California from Alabama when he was a teenager in high school. So they're all from, my family's all from back that way. They're all from Birmingham, that area, so.
But you want to hear
Pretty
the
neat.
populations for Huntsville, Birmingham, and Montgomery in 2020?
Yeah.
Huntsville is almost 200,000.
Wow.
Birmingham is 211,000, and Montgomery is 199,000.
Yeah.
Both of you live in bitch-made cities.
Yeah, you're in what, big old Texas
I'm
city,
in,
right?
I'm in Houston, dog.
Yeah.
Big old city. Big
what is
old
it
city.
Hey.
Yeah, if you're not counting illegal aliens, you're talking about
Mhm.
4
Oh my God, 2.3 million in 2020.
No, that's just Houston proper. If you count the county, because Houston's kind of like LA, it's spread out, right?
Right.
Yeah, you're getting close to about 5 million people at that point, and that's just documented people. And we're just a pipeline from Mexico, so we are packed, dude. It's fucking awesome. The nightlife is awesome here.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
So, but okay, so let's. All right, so did we decide y'all shake? No, hold on. Y'all didn't tell me what you're adding to your shake to fucking make it palatable. Because you said you were gonna dip it in barbecue sauce. I was like, nope, nah. You're going straight from the fucking the stomach.
To add it to a shake, I'd have to say like maybe like
I'm thinking
butter
like Greek.
pecan ice cream and pretend it's
Yeah,
like
I was
healthy
thinking like
protein
Greek
shake.
yogurt and chocolate or something.
Oh, that's
I don't
2
know.
things. You're overdoing it, sir. You only get one thing.
Oh. Okay, well I like his idea better then. Some with butter pecan ice cream and like sugar and
If
stuff
we
with
add
it, so.
5 years to it, you still get to have a shake, but the only additive is mayonnaise.
Nope. Nope.
I might be in. I might be in. Mayonnaise.
I mean, I like mayonnaise.
I do like
so
mayonnaise.
I don't know. I like mayonnaise.
sir.
So.
I saw a tweet today that said, somebody on this planet is eating more mayonnaise than anybody alive, and they don't even know it. And I was like, yep, that's fucking true. Fucking-
Oh Lord.
I've got to be at least in the running of that, of like for jerking off. Right? Like, somebody holds the record for jerking off. I know that one kid just died. We talked about this the other day. Some kid jerked off 56 times in a day and died of a heart attack. So now we know the max. Now we know the max, right? So 50, I would say 53 to be safe is the max you should do. You know?
You gotta have one of those clicker counters
Yeah.
that they have when you walk
Right.
into Walmart.
Like that fucking dyke coach I had in high school. Fuck it. Just click, 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 click.
You know that guy's got to be bleeding.
Oh, dude, his dick skin is ripped off like a kiwi. Like, you know, like the thin skin of a kiwi? It's like that on your dick, dude. Just fucking or else he's got calluses like I got on my feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do y'all have good feet or bad feet?
My feet are
Pretty good
destroyed.
feet.
My feet are fucked, dude. Like they're all cracked
Yeah.
and they're basically look like they're made of plastic.
No, it's
Yeah.
funny because look, I was actually just before the show
Oh, you're
doing a
fucked.
little bit of self care.
Jesus.
Doing a little bit
The
of self
grater?
care.
God damn, you're making Parmesan before the podcast?
Dude,
Ah.
they're not that bad because I take care of them, so they're not bad.
Dude, I've had bad feet my whole life, dude. They have like 2-inch cracks in them all over the place.
No,
Yeah, they
you
are
put
not
that old
show
coat
my-
on there.
Dude, my feet aren't that bad, but just freaking, I'm a big old dude, you know, so all my body, all my joints freaking just take a beating, dude. You know?
I was going to ask you this question. You, sir, I think are one of the lucky people on this planet. How tall are you?
6'5".
God damn. So me and you weigh the same, but I'm 5 inches fucking shorter. And I look like a big piece of shit. And you look good. It pisses me off. You know?
Thank you.
I was
I've
like,
I've put on a bunch of weight lately. That's my normal weight. I'd say average throughout my life is about like 260, but I'm like 320 right now. So,
dude,
that's,
up until I was like 25, I was 220. And that was like nice. And then I gained a shitload of weight. I got up to like 280, and then I lost it all, went down to 200. And now I'm hanging out at like 320, dude. It's fucking nasty. And just, yeah.
the happy weight.
It's beer, dude. I don't even eat that much. I don't eat that much. If I eat too much, I throw up. It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
If I eat more than like a burger and half my fries, I throw up.
Really?
But I can drink 8,000 of these sons of bitches. You know, can we go ahead and kill? Hey, that is a endorsement. Miller Lite, if you want to go ahead and sponsor the show. Oh, hell yeah. Fuck it. All right, so let's start off at where should we start off? Where does your story start? I want to start like where do you grow up, dude? Where do you grow up?
So I was born here in California. I'm the oldest of three. I got two younger sisters, and my dad, when I was born, was an evangelist, like a traveling preacher.
Really?
Yeah. And so my first, when I was a baby, 2-3 years old, I lived in a motorhome, and my dad traveled around, preaching all over the Western United States, and eventually settled in Phoenix, Arizona. My mom's family and my dad's family, like I said, my dad's family came over when he was a teenager, settled here. My mom's family is from here. So this was where I'm at now was kind of like the home base, but he preached a revival, they call it, in Phoenix. And I guess it was so successful, they asked him to come back again, and then eventually asked him to take over the church there. So we moved to Phoenix permanently, like right before I started kindergarten. And I was about 4. And I grew up there in Phoenix all the way until basically I joined the Army. And so Phoenix is where I grew up.
So
I spent a lot of time here in California, like during the summers with my grandparents and whatnot. But Phoenix is where I'd call home, I guess.
Did you grow up pretty heavy in the church?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was that the church growing up for us was our life. We not only was my dad a pastor, excuse me, but we were Pentecostal.
Yep.
And they were part of an organization that was pretty strict Pentecostalism. Like we grew up with no TV.
Yep.
Didn't have TV growing up. My mom and my sisters didn't cut their hair, wore dresses, the whole 9 yards.
Was it the blue jean? That's the blue jean dresses, right?
Yeah. Back then it was
Skirts and stuff too.
Yeah.
Long skirts, long hair. I wore pants, couldn't wear shorts, and things like that. And church 3-4 times a week, and church in our life, and especially being the pastor's son, the pastor's child. Church was definitely first and foremost,
Yep.
the most important thing in our life, my entire childhood. And my dad pastored a pretty big church there in Phoenix, and had a successful ministry as far as that type of stuff goes.
Did y'all go to? Did y'all go to a lot of like the? So, I think I've probably already told you this. My father's also a pastor, right? So yeah, I grew up. You're describing my life as well, right? So like, did you go to a lot of the? And it sounds like he traveled a bit too, right? So is my guess? I guess. Is he a musician?
My dad was not, no, but he sang.
Okay,
he would sing
okay.
at church.
So he would travel around singing, I'm guessing, right?
He would travel around, like his priority would be preaching, but before he would preach, he had like a couple songs that he was known for that he would sing.
Some hymns.
Okay,
He had some good hymns that he would sing.
Yeah, exactly.
Not necessarily him. My dad. So before my dad became a preacher, he was a country singer, right?
Okay.
Made a ton of money. It all went up his nose, but then he became a pastor. But that I'm trying to word this correctly to not make him sound like an asshole. But that showman, it was still in him, right? So he became like a musical pastor, right? And we did a lot of traveling around, playing music in church. You ever been to a big tent revival?
Yes. Yeah.
That's the wildest shit ever, right?
Yeah. In fact, I went with a couple with my dad where he would preach tent revivals on reservations.
Really?
Native American reservations, yeah.
Okay. Did
that was when I was a kid,
ever
man.
start raining?
Did what?
Did it ever start raining?
Probably. I don't remember.
Because they start doing their thing. In
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. It was and my dad, I wouldn't say that he was the showman type. I think that he was so passionate. I would wake up in the mornings and be getting ready for school and stuff, and my dad would be in his office, like praying. And as I'm getting ready for school, like I hear my dad in there, like speaking in tongues.
Yeah.
And stuff,
Yeah.
like he was like the, I get the real deal, like if you want to call it, like my dad really, a lot of these TV preachers and stuff, I don't know. But one thing I can say about my dad was he really believed it. And he was that preacher at home, just like he was when he was, he was 100%, sincere and so it was pretty different growing up that way. But of course, I didn't know any other way of growing up.
Exactly.
To me, that was normal,
Me and you would have been best friends, dude.
Yeah.
Like Josh, you said you went to church a bit when you were a kid, right?
Yeah, I did, and I went to.
Was it
I
a
went to
speaking
a
in
church.
tongues church or?
No, because I'm Baptist, so
They
it
did that
wasn't really-
too. No, they do that too.
Well, not the church that. Well, I mean, but not the church that I ever went to. There was one that I did go to, and it was like they were, doing that, falling out.
Yeah.
Just like falling over and shit. And I was like, I'm like, I don't even know what's going on here. And I was like, I told my mom, I was like, dude, I don't want to come back here.
That was every Sunday at my church. Was the same.
I didn't
with you?
understand it because I had never seen it.
Oh
And
yeah, dude.
I was like, no, I don't know about this.
I'm not, I don't have an opinion either way, really.
I don't
honestly,
now. I just know how I felt then.
But I know no, that's what I'm saying. I don't have an opinion, but when I was a kid, I was all in. Like it made sense, right?
Yeah.
Did you go to a public school, Zach?
Yes, I went to both. I went to both public school and Christian school. So, when I was a kid in elementary school, it was all public, and then my parents didn't want me going to a public high school.
Yeah.
So my first 2 years of high school were spent at Pentecostal schools that were ran by the church, and then my I guess it would have been maybe the middle of my sophomore year or the end of my sophomore year, they put me in a public school, and you want to talk about culture shock,
right?
I mean, it was gnarly, dude.
Dude.
For me, anyways.
Wait, no, I get what you're saying. Like, I graduated from a private Christian school, right? My mom worked there, so I got to go for free, right? So graduated from there, and I go out into the workforce, and I hear everybody saying "fuck, shit, cunt, cunt." It was like well, what's happening here, you know? And at 18, you should be pretty well adjusted, but dog, I was like, this is how people talk. This is how adults talk. Wow. That type of thing.
Like, so your parents had never cussed at all, really?
Only when they were fighting with each other in my house. Not to y'all?
No, I think
No.
I think one time when I was a kid, I think I heard my mom say piss, like PISS.
Wow.
But I think I'm probably mistaken. But other than that, no, I never heard.
You're like,
She would never let that blasphemy come out of her
I'm not
mouth.
putting that evil on her.
Let me, I'll tell you a story of how. So I was sheltered growing up, but I don't. When I say that, I don't mean that in a bad way. I had a very good childhood. I wanted for nothing. My dad made a good living for us. Me and my sisters were very well taken care of. So, but I was sheltered in a sense of like, I remember I was maybe 13 or 14. I don't remember exactly what age, but I remember being the only kid in my class that didn't know that the way you made a baby was by having sex.
Oh, this is a great. This is a great. Hold on. Don't just bypass that. Calm down. Fucking. Well, how did you think babies were made?
I thought that my parents or whoever wanted a baby would just pray and then God would bless them with a pregnancy.
Oh wow. Okay. Yours is so much more innocent than what I thought. Up until like third or fourth grade for me, I thought. Because some kid told me this, and I ran with it for years. Like, oh, you got to pee inside of somebody, and you could have a baby. I was like, oh, okay.
I was never told, like, my parents never told me, like, no, you don't have sex. That was just something that just wasn't discussed.
Yeah, and I never got the birds and bees either. I never did.
Yeah. I never, I learned it from kids at school. And, and I remember finding out, like kids at school telling me, like, no, the only way that you can have a baby is by having sex. And me saying, no, my parents never have sex. They prayed, and that's how, I was born or whatever. And then I went home from school and I asked my mom. And I remember she told me, she said, well, Zach, yes, when a husband and wife get married, they do have sex to have a baby. And I remember that night laying in my bed crying, thinking my parents were going to burn in hell for having sex to have me.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
And what age? You said 13-ish?
Around there, 12, 13. I mean, I don't
right
around
remember, when your pubes start like sprouting. Yeah, right around there.
Yeah. Well, I was old enough to be the only, to get made fun of for it at school for being the only kid that didn't know.
Really?
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Man, I guess I don't know if you're this way, Josh, but I was always the kid that, like, if somebody said something like, the Titanic is still there, right? I'm like, of course I do. Why don't you tell Bobby over here so he knows? Just so I can know what he's talking about, that type of thing. Type of, it's like that was me. Like that was me. Like if I didn't know something, I'm not admitting it. I hated being bullied. Fuck it, I hated it.
No, I mean, there was probably some things that I was like, yeah, of course, the same way. But I also know that I was like, I had no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Really?
And I wouldn't be afraid. Some things I wouldn't be afraid to admit. Like, of course, how a girl's boobs felt or something. I'd be like, oh, of course I know.
Yeah, bags of sand. Everybody knows bags of sand.
Yeah, and I'm 11. Of course I've never touched anybody's. No.
Yeah, you'd have to have been with like a older age girl to even have boobs
like
at that
Brandon
point, right?
or something. I don't. Whatever.
Yeah, Brandon. So previous guest talked about being. He said he fucked a chick whenever he was 12 and she was in her 20s, and I'm like, dog, you were molested, bro. Mm-hmm. he would not admit it. He's like, no, I fucked her. I was like, no, you're molested. You're molested.
Dude. Oh man.
We hit some wild situations on here. Hey, y'all keep this. I gotta piss. I'm about to piss myself.
You should have brought a
We
bottle, dude. Dude,
We
so
got,
how are you from Alabama, Josh?
I'm actually from Georgia.
Okay.
I moved out here to Alabama about 2 years ago. So,
Okay.
I still drive. I still work in Georgia though, so I still drive back. I'm only
Okay.
I'm like an hour and a half away from Atlanta. So
Okay, so you're just east of the line there. Or I'm sorry, west of the line.
west, yeah, just
Yeah,
west
yeah.
of it, yeah. Yeah, it's not a bad drive. I mean, my job it's kind of weird, so I kind of go all over Georgia. I'm actually going to be driving probably 3 hours one way here come Monday and Tuesday. But
Oh wow.
the way my job works, like it's not that big of a deal. So
Yeah.
it doesn't bother me to drive that far, a couple times a week.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah, we looked extensively at Alabama to move. We're kind of right now we're kind of tossed up between like Eastern Tennessee and upstate South Carolina.
Right.
Back in that area. Things in California are just getting crazier. By the week, man.
What are you gonna do with your Tesla?
With my what?
With your Tesla?
Oh, with my Tesla.
I'm pretty sure
when I leave, I'm gonna make sure to charge it so I kill the rest of the power grid out here.
Okay, so yeah, per every bit of news that we get out here in the southern states, everybody in California owns at least one Tesla, but most of y'all have two.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so it's funny because being from California, well, you guys know, everybody. If you go to a different state, everybody thinks, oh, you're from Texas, you're a cowboy. Everybody thinks, oh, you're from Alabama, you're out, eating possums. Everybody thinks people from California are living in LA and are surfers.
For the record, he was talking about people in Alabama eating possums, not Texas. Just saying.
Yeah. And but for a lot of us, I mean, as you guys know, because I'm sure the different stereotypes go for your states. It's not the case for most of us. It's just those big cities, and what you see on the news and on TV, I mean, everybody I run with, everybody in my town drives big old lifted trucks and hunts and fishes and, just regular good old boys.
Here's where we make a turn. That's the problem with America is people like you, Zach, that are just flooding the goddamn economy and the fucking CO2 I don't give a fuck about any of that shit. I don't even vote, dude. Fuck all that. But I hate politics. I hate it all. All right, so you grow up, you hit 18, you graduate. What's your next move, dude?
Okay, so I'll back up a little bit. 9/11 happened, and I was 14 years old.
Never forget.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. How old are you?
I'm 35. I turned 35 in June.
Okay, so 04?
2001 was 9/11.
No, I know. When did you graduate?
Oh, my class.
God damn it, Zach! Don't make me look like an asshole.
I graduated in 2006.
You got to figure out that math for me here.
That's 2 years. That's 2 years before me.
How old are you?
I'm only 32.
I graduated 04. I'm 36. That's why I'm trying to figure out the math here.
I'm 32.
I'm 35. Okay. But let me tell you this. I went to kindergarten twice.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Those lines and those Crayola lines are hard to keep in, dude. I get it.
I wasn't playing when I was a kid, man.
No, you were playing when you were.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So that makes a little bit more sense. Okay, cool. All right, 2001 happens. You get the bug.
Yeah.
I had a few friends get that same bug. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was raised, real patriotic family and whatnot.
Yeah.
And 9/11 happens and come home from school that day. And I tell my mom, I'm going to join the army and I'm going to go and fight in the war. And she, and I'm a 14-year-old kid, whatever. And she's like, kind of like, oh, okay, son, whatever. Right. Well, from that point on, I was just determined. And when I was 17. I talked to the recruiter, and my parents signed the waiver for me to join, and I turned 18 in basic training, and away we went,
North Carolina?
And I went to I went to Fort Jackson, South Carolina for 9 weeks of basic training. And then after that, they were able to work a thing where I was able to join early.
Nice.
So I went to 9 weeks of basic training in South Carolina. And then I took a little break because I was in a thing called the delayed entry program. That's a whole nother whatever. But then I went a little while later, I went to Fort Benning, Georgia, and did my infantry training there. And then after that, after my infantry training, I got sent to Fort Riley, Kansas, and I was assigned to the 1st Infantry Division, and I got put in in 1st Squadron, 4th Cavalry Regiment. It was basically a battalion of mostly cavalry scouts, but we had one company of infantry guys, and we did the unit specialty was supposed to be like long range recon surveillance, like scouting type stuff. And so I was there, stationed there as a brand new E1 private. And I think I was there at Fort Riley for maybe 6 or 7 months. And then we deployed to Baghdad, Iraq in, let's see, I think it was February 2007. I think February 2007, we went to Baghdad, Iraq. And we were in the Al-Dora district of Baghdad. That was our area of operations over there.
Can we backtrack just a little bit? We're getting way ahead of ourselves here. Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. I'll start spewing.
No, I get it. I don't mind interrupting if I feel like we're missing something here. I don't know dick about like basic training and shit. I sat in front of a fucking recruiter's office for about an hour. And that drove off saying, I can't fucking do it. So I'm a pussy. I'm a fucking pussy, okay? I thought about it for a good hot minute. By a minute, I mean in a single hour. But that was a long-ass hour, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, but whenever you get into these, you were talking about your squadrons or your battalions or whatever they're called, like, I don't know shit about the military. Sorry if I use the wrong terminology, but
that's all good.
Do you get to pick and choose like what you want to get into, or how is that chosen?
So, when you go and initially talk to your recruiter, you'll take what's called the ASVAB test, and I can't remember what ASVAB stands for, but it's basically
hold on. Let's figure it out. What's the letters?
ASVAB, ASVAB.
Okay, anal, sex,
it's like
vaginal, and buttholes. Got it.
Yeah,
got it. That was it. Perfect. That was so quick.
And
oh fuck.
And based on your, it's basically an aptitude test. And based on your scores, you can choose. Depending on what time it is, too. A lot of it changes by the needs of the military.
Okay.
By who they need, what they need at that point.
Are there like a bunch of? Is it like a bunch of hard questions? What if you like aced it?
Dude.
What if you aced it? Do you like end up in the CIA?
No, well,
Okay,
so
that's what I'm asking here. Like,
it was not hard, and I can't remember how they scored it, but I know that I did. And trust me, I screwed off in school, and whatever, and I did well enough that I could have picked any job. But
no shit.
I wanted to do. Yeah, I could have been, a helicopter mechanic, whatever, right?
Why wouldn't you choose that? So far away from danger. So far from danger.
I know, dude, but I wanted to do infantry, and I remember my recruiter trying to talk me out of it because infantry is the easiest job to get into.
Well, yeah, that
because
seems
you're
like
basically
anybody could do it.
Your
right?
job is to kick doors in and shoot guns. You
just got to do this, right?
Right. Yeah. Pretty much.
I stole that from Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan. All I got to do is this.
Yeah. Right.
Hey, how realistic is that movie? I don't want to dig into like your real life, shit over there. But like, how realistic is that movie? I know you didn't live WW2, but
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't
what about
really even tell you because those engagements are so huge compared to our engagements. Our engagements were quick little spats.
what
you know,
about
not full on.
that show Generation Kill? Did you ever watch that show?
Yeah, I did watch that.
Everybody said that was pretty realistic. Is it pretty realistic?
I did watch it, and I would say it wasn't bad. The biggest thing about those military shows that comes off to me, or I guess probably a lot of other veteran dudes, is just little things that they do that are so far off, like how they talk to each other.
Well, there's
like
probably a bit more of the N word used. I get that, but you know,
yeah. But a lot of it, you know, like they got in those movies and shows, they got, you know, privates talking to their staff sergeants like they're their buddies.
Oh, they'll get their ass kicked, right? Like yeah.
Yeah, it's not like that. But there was a movie that just came out. I think it's called The Hornets Nest.
I haven't seen that. Is it good?
It's been out the last couple years. I think it's called The Hornets Nest, and that was in Afghanistan. I didn't go to Afghanistan, so I can't really tell you much about that. But that to me it was good. I can't say it was 100% accurate or realistic, but it was a good movie, and I'm really picky when it comes to military.
I just wrote that down. I'm gonna check it out.
What do you think was worse, going to Afghanistan, or what do you think Iraq would be?
Afghanistan, like I said, I was never there, so I don't really have anything to compare it to. But from what I've seen in documentaries and things like that, I think that the combat engagements there seem to be a lot more drawn out. As far as guys would be, you know, they like the Korengal Valley and stuff like that. You know, guys were in these small little cops, or the cop call it a combat outpost, and they were, you know, taking, you know, like long-term engagements for like days at a time, and, you know, fighting throughout the night and things like that. That was a lot different than what we were dealing with. What we dealt with was a lot of IEDs, a lot of mortar and rocket attacks, and any like firefight engagements wouldn't last, you know, like overnight. I mean, as far as you're fighting for 12 hours straight, it wasn't really like that. It was real quick, like real quick engagements.
This is gonna sound like a really odd question, but do you know Chef Genitals?
Chef Jones?
Genitals.
Chef Genitals?
Yeah, on Instagram. Okay, he's also a guest of the show. He was in the sandbox as well, and he told some wild stories about IEDs and stuff like that, and his vehicle getting flipped over and shit like that's scary stuff, dude. That's scary shit, dude. Like I do not envy y'all, but I respect y'all. Does that make sense?
I say that when I was deployed, I made some of the best and worst memories of my life. You know what I mean? Both.
He said the same thing. He said you make brothers for life. At the same time, it sucks dick. You know, like it just yeah. And he said the people weren't bad either. Like the ones you actually come in contact with. Did you come in contact with any locals or?
Oh yeah.
A lot of them were pretty cool, from what he said. You know.
Yeah, I mean you know, I was like an E4 at the time, so I was really just a gun on the street. You know, I wasn't I wasn't like up there like having conversations with the neighborhood leaders and stuff like that. You know, but what I got from it was if you're keeping their neighborhood safe and you're creating jobs and you're making it so their kids are safe to go to school, of course they're going to be good with you being there. You know what I mean?
Here's a good question. A good question. This is a great question. Fuck me. All right, here we go. What's it like going into a place where there is no other race than what is there? Like let's say Iraqi people. They all look. Yeah. Is it racist to say Iraqi people all look generally the same? It's not that I can't tell them apart, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Like it's you get what I'm saying. Fuck that. I'm not apologizing for my own goddamn show.
No. It It was a trip, man.
It's weird, right? Like, have you ever been to Mexico?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've never seen an Asian in Mexico.
Unless it's at a resort, you know.
Not even then, bro. It's really rare. But I've like been to like Mexico, and I'm the minority, and it's a really wild feeling, and it's cool. It's fine, but like, it's a real culture shock when you go somewhere, and I've never been to the third world.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
Mexico third world? Is Mexico third world?
It's different because, you know, they're obviously it's a different country, but everything about them, everything about their culture, everything about how their society is ran is completely different than ours. The only similarity is they drive cars and they have males and females. Like, that's the only similarity.
But they're in the beekeeper costumes, right? Like,
yeah, we call them man dresses. Yeah.
This is when we get canceled. Let's go.
Yeah, hey, whatever.
All right, okay. You finish your military career. What then?
Yeah.
What then, dude?
So we come back from Iraq, and I was there at Fort Riley, and we were actually getting trained up to go on a second deployment. And this is where my life like took a crazy wild turn. Actually, let me back up just a little bit. So when I joined the military, like I told you, you know, how sheltered I was and stuff growing up, things like that. When I joined the military, you know, I was hanging out with guys who had never stepped foot through a church before, you know, guys who drank beer and smoked and cussed, and you know, it just was like complete culture shock for me.
Was there access to that kind of stuff on base in another country? Like, could you get beer on base in Afghanistan? No. Okay.
No. Yeah, no. But you know, they're at Fort Riley when I was stateside and stuff, you know, and of course being the only Pentecostal on an army base of tens of thousands of guys, of course I'm getting influenced by other people. I'm starting to question certain things from my upbringing. Yeah. You know, and then I go to war. I go to Iraq.
You see,
you know, and that in itself, is an experience. You know, so I'm getting ready for my second tour. You know, 4 years later, and I'm a good soldier at this point. You know, but my mind is kind of like in turmoil because I'm questioning things from when I grew up. I'm questioning things that I saw while I was deployed. I'm questioning the way that my brothers at the time had been raised. And you know, I'm soaking up. I'm like a sponge at this point that never got a chance to get dunked in water. And at 18 years old, I got dunked into a bucket, you know.
Very similar what I mentioned. Like, I got thrown into the real world, and it's a mind fuck, right? Yeah.
So I'm married at the time. One thing that every guy in the military will tell you that if you're not married by 21, you ain't doing it right. You know, everybody's got to get at least one divorce under their belt while they're in the military.
Yeah, Jody shows up while you're away, right?
Yeah. So I just got married, and I'm getting ready to deploy again, and I was out with my buddies one day. It was a Thursday. We were getting ready for a long weekend. They were giving us a bunch of long weekends because we were literally like 2 weeks away from deploying. Like, I had already packed bags and had them shipped over to Iraq.
Wow.
It takes you like a month to get the unit packed up. You're packing and, you know. So I was out on a motorcycle ride with my buddies, and my motorcycle was leaking oil. So I told my buddy, hey, I'm going to park my bike at your house. I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to drive home for the night. So I get in my car, and I had my cell phone in there. And of course, this is 2009, back when you had like the flip phones, the slider phones, you know.
The one with the dragon
and
on
I have
it?
like,
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And I have like 30 missed calls from people back home in Arizona who I had not spoken to in a very long time.
Whoa.
And I'm like, what? Why are all these people calling me? You know, like this is really strange, you know. And so I get in a truck and I get on the road, and phone starts ringing again. And of course, this is back when everything wasn't about your cell phone. Right now, if I saw my cell phone had 30 missed calls, I'd be calling people back right away.
Yeah.
You know, it was a little bit different back then. So my phone starts ringing again, and it was one of my childhood friends, Robbie, who I hadn't spoken to, you know, in quite some time. And I was like, what's going on? You know, so I answer. I'm like, hey man, what's going on? You know, and I could tell in his voice, because he said, hey man, I'm just calling to see how you're doing, you know. And I'm like, I'm doing fine, man. Like, what's going on? You know,
kind of weird, but yeah.
Right. And I'm like, oh, I'm doing good, man. Hey, do you know why everybody from Arizona and from the church is calling me? Because he was a church friend.
Yeah.
And he started backpedaling. He was like, oh no, man, I was just calling us to see how you're doing. You know, give me a call later. Bye.
Damn.
Like, okay. So then I called my wife at the time. I said, hey, babe, you know, what's going on? And she said, you need to get home now. I said, tell me what's going on. She said, you need to come home right now. I said, okay. So I get home, get to the apartment. She's sitting in there crying. And I'm like, what is going on? And she tells me, you need to call your sister. I'm like, okay, you know, nobody's telling me what's going on. I call my sister. She picks up the phone. And I said, hey, Kendra, my sister's name's Kendra. I said, what is going on? You know, and I'll never forget the word she said. She said, something happened with Dad. And I said, what? And she said, he had his Glock in the living room and he shot himself.
Jesus.
And right away I'm thinking, and my dad was an avid shooter growing up. Him and I competed together in pistol competitions. He was always a Glock guy, you know. So right away I'm thinking, okay, he was cleaning his pistol and you know, something must have happened, you know, whatever. And so she said, something happened with Dad. He had his Glock in the living room and he shot himself. And I said, okay, well, is he all right? And she paused and she said, no, he's dead. And I just, like, I didn't believe it. I kept telling her, I said, no, you're lying. You're lying. This, you know, he's fine. And she just kept saying, like, no, Zach, like he's dead. Dad committed suicide. And then once she said that word suicide, it was like, I can't even describe it. It was like a whirlwind of emotions, but I automatically went into, not panic mode, but almost like, like tragedy reaction mode. Yeah. You know, like I told I asked my sister, I said, okay, where's Mom? And she told me, and I said, okay, well, you need to have, I was telling her to have people from the church call me so that they could get a hold of the Red Cross, and through the Red Cross, my unit would send me on emergency leave. Yeah. And so I get off the phone with her. I call my platoon sergeant. I tell him what's going on. The chaplain comes out and meets with me, you know, and the next day we drive from Kansas to Arizona, hauling ass, you know, to get over there to, you know, bury my dad. And I just was just in a complete state of shock, especially my dad's background as being a Pentecostal minister.
Right, that's exactly what I was thinking.
I was thinking the same thing, brother. Like, did he have any sort of history of that, or?
So, according to my mom, and this is stuff that I found out later. Okay. That he did have history of depression and anxiety and things like that. But of course, being a Pentecostal minister,
you kind of push it
you're
down.
Not going out and seeking treatment for that. Like you're just praying, you know,
push it down, and
it was one of those things that had to be like kept secret from the church.
Are you of the mind now? Like, I know that you're back in the church and everything. I'm not sure what denomination you're in and everything. I really don't care. That's your thing, right? But like, are you of the denomination, like, there is a mixture of science and religion? Like, because of, or therapy, I should say?
Oh, for sure. You know, 100%. And I think that my dad doing what he did kind of pushed that a lot within that church organization that they were a part of.
Hell yeah.
You know, it sent waves through the country, you know, throughout this church organization. And it was just way out of left field because my dad was pretty high up within the organization.
Yeah.
So it's so it was a big deal, not only in our lives, but also within the church.
Let me ask this question, dude. Like, this, if it's too much, just tell me to fuck off, okay? But like, how do you? I assume, at least in the first few days, it feels unreal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But how do you deal? Like, I've never lost a parent. Josh, have you?
No.
Okay, so I don't know what that would even feel like, and I actually dread it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
Well-
I have resentments against my parents for sure, right? And we don't talk a whole lot.
I think
but
my-
at the same time, like, I'm just like, man, if that
I
happens,
think
it's gonna be
I
a
think
bummer.
my feelings towards it. I think my feelings are different though, because my dad's a firefighter, so I think I worry about my dad.
Okay.
But think about that same thing. I mean, obviously it's a different aspect, but
How do you deal with that
yeah,
situation?
how do you
Zach?
deal with that though?
Well, the biggest thing I can say is time heals all things, man. I mean, it was
Yeah.
absolutely devastating and crushing at first. It tore our family apart.
Yeah.
But as time goes on, I could talk about my dad and all the details of it now, and there's emotions there, but it's not difficult for me to talk about like it was maybe
When it
this was
happened.
2009. It's been 13 years.
I don't want to dig up
You
a
know.
bunch of like weird emotions. I was just wondering,
Yeah.
was it a difficult thing to process?
Oh.
I guess that's the question.
it was- it was unreal, and it the biggest thing was that he committed suicide. So wondering what was going through his head before he pulled the trigger, and there's a lot of people that feel suicidal. I've felt suicidal before.
I have
There's
to.
a lot of
I have
people
to.
that
I've been there.
yeah, but feeling suicidal or checking yourself into the hospital because you might want to kill yourself, and then actually loading the gun and pulling the trigger, you're talking some next level
Yeah.
mental
That's
battle.
it's
you
a
know,
real
so-
motherfucker of a situation. Yeah.
right? And people, say it's the coward's way out. That's the first
Nah,
thing that,
fuck.
that people.
If you say that, fuck you. You're a faggot. I'll say it
yeah,
right now.
I don't believe. I think that maybe it's a case by case basis, but honestly, I think if you're really willing to put a gun to your head and pull the trigger, that ain't something a coward would do.
No.
A coward might
That's
fake
pretty-
it for attention.
I
or
think
whatever,
it takes
but-
a lot more to actually
You know
pull
what I
the
mean?
trigger.
Yeah, I'm an attention
Yeah.
whore, and there's no way I'm doing that. So, but,
Yeah, I think it takes a lot more to pull that trigger. That's not a
Yeah.
coward. That's
I've been sitting here trying to figure out how to lighten the mood with a dick joke, but there's no way to do it. I think we just move on to the next thing.
just transition.
All right. So after that, what happens, brother?
So we bury my dad, and I go back to Fort Riley.
Are you in
And
any
at
sort of
this point,
are
I'm-
you in any sort of a state of like depression or anything like that at this point, or just are you just living your life?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking, just a week or so after, and it wasn't definitely depression, but more just complete and utter shock.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Sadness, and also, I had my mom and my two younger sisters, and my youngest sister, she was only like 13 or 14 at the time. So just a kid. So I felt like I had to, be there to take care of them. I had to go over funeral details because my mom couldn't do it. So I was less in mourning mode and more like in soldier mode,
yeah,
I guess you could
business
say.
mode.
As
Business
far
mode.
as,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we get back to Fort Riley, my wife and I, and I'm getting ready to deploy again, literally within a matter of days. And on the phone with my mom and my sisters constantly. And excuse me, my mom was really, really struggling.
I bet, yeah.
Just, I couldn't even imagine her husband of, almost 30 years, shoots himself. I mean, I couldn't imagine. and also all the stigmas of the religion that we were a part of too, you know, built on, piling on top of that. So it's getting to the point where I'm realizing, you know, my family needs me right now more than the Army does, you know. And so I ended up talking with one of my chaplains. We talked to my company commander, went all the way up to like our brigade commander. And they ended up giving me what was called a dependency hardship discharge. Basically, it was an honorable discharge, but basically it was one of those things where, hey, your family needs you more than we do. And obviously this is a disastrous type situation. This isn't just like, hey, my grandpa's sick. Like, you know, this is obviously a life-changing situation. And so they honorably discharged me, and I came back to California, but I still served in the National Guard for another 3 years, that was just kind of like a weekend warrior type thing.
Yeah, how does that work? If you join the National Guard, it's just like every weekend or every other weekend or what? Like
it's once a month.
God, I could join the National Guard and get some fucking discounts at IHOP. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. Hell yeah. But so we come back to California, my wife and I. Oh, and I forgot to mention this. On the day that we buried my dad, my wife and I find out that we're pregnant, that she's pregnant.
Wow.
You know, it's like, hey, God gives, God takes away type thing, you know. Yeah. And we find out that we're pregnant with my daughter, she'll be 13 in April. So
just keep, yeah, you
good?
can keep, yeah, you can just keep.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Does Burley got to pee again?
Yep.
I might pee when he gets back.
You just go ahead. If you gotta go, he can just edit this out.
Okay, yeah. Let me pee
cool.
real quick.
Let's just everybody just go pee. And Burley, you gotta edit this out, and we can go.
All right. Yeah.
Shit, everybody left at once? Everybody left at once?
No. Yeah, we did.
I did this to keep it going.
Well, he was like, I gotta go pee.
Oh,
and I said, just go pee.
All right.
He can just edit it out.
Well.
So.
All right. You should have warned me. All right, I gotta plug my phone in. Hold on. Keep talking, guys.
That's all right.
All right. So we come back to California, and you know, I'm just like kind of at a loss at this point. Like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do, where my life is at. When I was in the Army, I had planned on making the Army a career. I had wanted to stay in for 20 years. I wanted to do another deployment. I wanted to become a drill sergeant. You know, I did not plan on getting out of the Army at all. And here I am I was 23, 24 at the time. And I'm just here in California, no direction of what I'm going to do, you know. And so I get a job at a factory with one of my cousins and start working. And I was dealing with, at this point, I think just, I was just so angry at the world. I hated the world. I hated the church. I hated everything. And I think that it was a culmination of, you know, the suicide of my dad, you know, what I experienced during the war, being sheltered as a child and then just being released into the wild. I didn't care about anything. I didn't care about my wife. I didn't care about our child that had been born. My daughter at this point was just a couple months old, you know, and I just wanted to raise hell.
Can I say something like Josh, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think it's weird. Like, I think guys have that similar situation. I don't know if you did, Zach, on your other children, but when my kids were born, like, I'm just like, got a kid now. Like,
See,
it didn't really kick in for me for a few months.
Yeah, same way.
Yeah.
I'm the same.
Do you know there's like a genetical thing that like genetical? That's a real word. I don't care what you say, but there's like a genetic thing where like kids come out looking more like the father at the very beginning, like when they're first born, and it goes back to like whenever we were whatever we were before humans, to where we don't kill our kids beforehand to like try to fuck again, to try to breed again. That's so they look.
I believe it. I believe it.
Because my kids both look like me at the beginning. Now they look like their mom. Thank God. I'm an ugly motherfucker.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, same. My son, he's turned 13 months a couple days ago, and probably his first 4 or 5 months of life, everybody said he looked just like me.
That's a I hate to use the word evolutionary trait, but it's an evolutionary trait.
Somebody thinks that you're cute on the live. So
oh yeah, I know who. Stephanie says you are the one in red is cute.
Yeah.
So
that's my wife.
I know. Yeah, I figured it was. I didn't want to throw the last name out there. You know. But yeah, dude, fucking. Okay, so you're pissed off at the world at this fucking point, and
and also too, like going. I'll flash back to my childhood real quick. I think because I was so sheltered, I was always enamored with like, have you seen the movie Goodfellas, where at the beginning Ray Liotta says, "I've always wanted to be a gangster."
Yes, yes.
Okay,
I know where you're going with this, and I feel this,
dude. That resonates with me. And growing up in Phoenix.
We lost you. What'd you do?
No, he's still there.
I see you, but I can't hear you. What happened to the sound?
Got a little sketch.
What'd you do with the sound? Gotta love Alive. What happened? Nothing happened. I was away from the computer. You can't blame me. Let's see. What happened here? Can you hear us?
Maybe you leave again. I don't know.
Yeah, bounce off and jump back on, brother. Do it real quick. We'll keep it going. We'll keep it going. Were you a fan of Goodfellas, bro?
So I watched it recently, but I didn't finish the whole fucking thing.
That's your first time watching it?
Yeah. I've watched The Sopranos about 3 fucking times, and then I was like, you know what? I need to fucking watch the beginning of all this shit, you know?
Dog, you're killing me. You're killing me.
I really hate fucking telling people that I haven't seen a movie because
the text is about to blow up. You haven't watched The Simpsons or the goddamn Goodfellas, dude. Ever since I could remember. Talk to me, brother.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. All right, let me add
you. Hey, you know what it is, dude? I think because my wife has this MacBook all hooked up with her phone.
You know, the problem is a Mac. The problem is a Mac. Yeah. Let's be honest here. I'm adding you back to the stream. There we go.
All right, we're good?
Yeah, we are back, senor. Okay. So we were just shitting on Josh for never seeing Goodfellas.
So growing up in Phoenix, a lot of my friends in the church growing up were Mexican kids who their like older brothers were like cholos and stuff like that. And I always was enamored with the lowriders, the creased up dickies, the hairnets, the gangster. Like, I just thought it was so cool. And I remember being a kid, like wanting to get tattoos when I got older, even though in my mind at the time, I knew it was a sin, but I still wanted to get tattoos when I got older, whatever.
Yeah.
So here I am 23 years later with the perfect excuse to go crazy. And, and so.
Wait, okay. What did you start with?
So let's see, kind of my first, exposure to, I guess you could call the outlaw lifestyle. I was really into riding motorcycles. And I get out of the Army and I decide I want to join a motorcycle club.
Were you an Opie guy?
A what?
Opie?
Opie.
Were you Opie? I was Opie. I was Opie all day, dude. Who was your guy? Jack?
Well,
you were a Jack's guy. I know you were a Jack's guy.
No, I didn't. We considered ourselves, like real bikers. So
no,
we
dude,
didn't
but
watch,
the TV
we didn't
show,
watch
but
Sons of Anarchy.
But the Sons of Anarchy is all I think about when I think of fucking motorcycle gangs.
Oh yeah.
Oh hell yeah, Sons of Anarchy all day, dog. Fucking.
So
What's that?
God damn it, Josh.
I know what it is, but I've literally never watched it.
Oh my god.
well,
Have you
I
watched
could tell
it, Zack?
you, being, huh?
Have you watched Sons of Anarchy?
A little bit, but when it was first coming out was when I first got into the club scene, and watching that show, or at least admitting to watching that show, was a big no-no.
Dog.
Because that was Hollywood, you know what I mean? And we were the real deal, we
Yeah,
thought.
but come on
know?
now. Like, it had to have been pretty good. Like, they had the Hells Angels there to, like, talk to them and shit.
Yeah, in fact, I think there was a few members who were a part of that show. I don't know. I can't speak on that. I don't know.
Okay, so I'm not gonna ask you who your affiliates are, but like in my area, we have the Banditos.
Yeah,
Like that's the big Houston crew. You see them all over. You see them wearing their cuts and everything around town.
yeah.
Like, is it a whole process to get into a MC?
Yeah.
How long is
so-
the process? I guess I want to keep this brief as fuck because we are running out of time and we have a lot to cover.
Yeah. So it's a long process, and a lot of it is dependent on the club. I've seen it be 6 months for some clubs. I've seen it be a minimum of a year for others. I've seen it be 3 to 4 years for other clubs. It's just dependent on that club, and there's definitely a hierarchy of clubs.
Are there any clubs that are keeping it all above board?
Above what?
Above board.
And what do you mean, like
In a
like
legal
not-
sense.
For sure.
So there's
Yeah,
just a
and
bunch of
that's the
friends
thing.
hanging out.
Well, so you have out here in California, you have MCs, which are motorcycle clubs, and then you have RCs, which are riding clubs. And the riding clubs, I've never been a part of one,
Yeah,
but
that
they're
sounds
more
gay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're more like your like your family oriented type thing. Guys that just want to ride motorcycles and stuff. For other clubs and stuff like that, it's a full on lifestyle. I went a couple years where the only vehicle I had was my Harley, and I would ride
No shit.
365 days. Yeah, that's all I had was a Harley. But I could tell you it's nothing like Sons of Anarchy. I wasn't out there doing all sorts of crazy stuff, and I wasn't some Billy badass guy that you'd see on Gangland. That's not me.
Can you at least say that you were Opie? Opie was the coolest guy. He was the coolest guy.
I had a shaved head and everything back then.
I want to ask you. Okay, well, so what do you do in the motorcycle club?
Yeah, what do you
Like,
do in a motorcycle club?
Why are they so much more badass than just riders?
They got cool ass vests. Vests are cool.
For me personally, I can only speak for me. I felt that I was more badass than your average guy that owns a Harley that on your block, because for me, I ate, slept, and breathed motorcycles. I rode every single day. And it wasn't just a leisurely activity for me. It was my life. And
could you build a motorcycle from I'm drunk. A motorcycle from scratch? Could you do that?
No.
Really? And you had a vest. Dog.
Yeah.
Well, I want to know, but I want to know, like, I mean, were you like beating the shit out of people? Were you what was? I mean, what made?
What's the allure? The allure.
Such a badass. Like, I'm just I don't know. I think literally have zero fucking idea.
I think that the allure is the unknown. The allure is the secrecy. You know, the allure is people who've never lived in that world asking the questions that you guys are asking.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Like, you know what I mean? I think it's like, why are people ask questions about the Freemasons? Because nobody really knows.
You took the words out of my mouth. I'm like, I want to be a Mason because I don't have a motorcycle.
Right.
So
right.
if I drive my Lexus up to the Freemasons, they're probably like, man, let's be honest here. Burley rules.
All I'll say to, I mean, I was involved in the motorcycle club scene for several years. You know, and being involved in that scene, I think, was what introduced me to that outlaw lifestyle.
So
even if maybe,
so it's not like the mob to where you can say this shit doesn't exist.
But where does it go from there?
To answer your question, Josh, I can't. There's so many motorcycle clubs that I couldn't really speak on that to know
right.
what each motorcycle club is doing. I know that there are motorcycle clubs that 100% are groups of family that ride to the mountains to have a picnic on the weekend.
Those are the gay
And there's
ones.
other motorcycle clubs that might be doing different stuff. I can't really speak on that.
Right.
You know what? I'm gonna be. This is not Zack talking. This is Burley talking. Can we get me into a motorcycle club? But I don't have a motorcycle. I have zero want to ride a motorcycle. I just want to be cool. Just cool.
Join the Iron Order. Join the Iron Order. You can
Iron
join
Order
online.
sounds like fucking Nazis, dude. Come on. I don't
Google the
want to join
Iron
Nazi.
Order when you're done.
Listen, dude, I look like a Nazi child, but I'm not one. All right. All right. So okay. So you're in the motorcycle club. Where does that lead? How do you?
So on my own accord, this had nothing to do with the club, but I started experimenting with drugs. Started out, of course, smoking weed like everybody, and started doing cocaine. I was doing ecstasy. I was, snorting Oxycontin, whatever I could get my hands on. I was doing it. I really like just getting effed up.
I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah. And so one night I'm hanging out with somebody and we were like drinking, and I was telling him, I was like, hey man, I want to bust down a line. Well, I was talking about coke, because he seemed like the type of individual that would have some coke. And so he goes in the back room and calls me back there a few minutes later, and he has a mirror, with some lines on it. So I'm like, oh heck yeah, So I my go-to was a business card. I would get a business card, I would rip it in half, and I would roll it up like a straw.
Okay,
and,
you didn't have a lucky bill.
I never liked the dollar bill because I thought too much dope would get wasted in the folds.
Okay, see, I have I had. Can I wink right here? I had a lucky $2 bill that may or may not still be in my wallet. That might roll up if I were to unfold it. But
so
that was my go-to. So it sounds like you got tricked into it like I did.
No, I didn't get tricked into it. I was asking to do some drugs, and
No, but you didn't know what you were taking. That's the point I'm making.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't. But so I snort the line, and I knew something was different because it burned. It
hurts. It hurts.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, what was that? And he says, oh, that's he called it something. He's like, oh, that's some dope,
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, but dope could be anything. Dope could be weed.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, okay, And so we partied the rest of the night. We're out. This was out like on a ranch, so we're shooting shotguns up in the air, having a good old time. And I finally go to bed the next morning.
Can we all vouch for how awesome drugs and firearms go together? They're pretty awesome. That's why that whole
definitely responsible for sure.
That's why that whole like task force is together. Drug, alcohol, and firearms. That's why they're together.
Right.
Because they go together. They're pretty fun. This is in Cali?
Yeah.
You'll have firearms in Cali? That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Common misconception. Everybody thinks y'all aren't allowed to have them.
Dude, like I said earlier, all my buddies are hunters, fishermen, good old boys, man. But so the very next day of me waking up, I'm asking him for more. I'm like, hey man, let me get some more.
Okay.
And he's like, oh, are you sure? And I remember telling him, like, man, I'm a grown man. I'm good. Let me get some. And it was off to the races.
Is it because it was just one line and that did you for the night?
Yeah. I mean, I stayed up, all night and slept the next day. But I just remember.
For the listeners, cocaine is generally like every half hour or more, maybe to an hour, you're going to want another bump, another line, whatever.
Yeah.
One line of meth will last you the night, and it's not a cool thing. It's not a cool thing. It'll get you. I did it one time, and that was.
I'll say for the listeners because this is new for Josh here too.
Oh yeah. Hey Josh, whenever I come over, don't let me offer you meth.
Hey, I'm gonna open my. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get some more here.
Yeah, meth is a fucking weird one, dude. Like I did it on. I literally did it on accident one time. Somebody
You
said
did it
accidentally. I thought it was.
Wow.
I thought it was powder. I thought it was coke. And
Yeah.
I hit it. I was in Louisiana of all places.
That's a pretty terrible fucking accident.
It hurt as soon as it hit my nose,
That's a pretty terrible fucking accident.
It hurt as soon as it hit my nose, and I went, "Oh,
I'd be pissed
Lord."
if that accident.
When you're already drunk,
So
you're just living it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was off to the races for me, and within. It went from me doing it once a week to where I was staying up, 5-6 days at a time, staying awake.
What's that like? That's something I never experienced. What is 5 days awake like?
Like just being spun out.
I've been 2 days, and that's tops, and that was all just with powder,
Yeah. So, I would do like a lot of dope. I would do like a run, like 5 up, 2 down, 5 days awake, 2 days sleeping, 5 days awake, 2 days sleeping.
You said that, and that blew my mind. Yeah.
Yeah. So, my first like lines, and I like to snort it. People can shoot it up, you can smoke it. I preferred snorting it. I felt that it lasted longer that way. But I would chop up 2 lines, like 2 pinkies.
Railroad spikes. Railroad spikes. Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude, like gaggers. And I would get my business card. That was always my go-to. And I would hit one and hit the other back to back. And get real, your body just gets real cold, and you start, sucking it back to catch that drip, and you swallow it.
Yeah.
And then you're on one. You're on one. And I would be at my house, and this is before I was homeless, which wasn't much long after.
Don't spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Yeah.
So I would do the dope in my garage, because I would be trying to hide it from my girlfriend at the time, and just trying to. I thought nobody knew, but of course everybody knew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would do 2 big old gaggers, and I would be in my garage, rearranging the entire garage or taking my Harley apart or something, and then I look at my phone. It's been 36 hours.
Holy shit.
I haven't eaten. I haven't, so I'm like, oh, well, I guess I better eat something, but when you're doing meth, it's flooding your body with so many endorphins that you're not, even though your body's hungry, your mind's not telling you to eat, and you have to force yourself to eat.
Yeah.
So I would, it would be 24 hours, it'd be a whole day, a day and a half, and to me, it just felt like a couple hours.
Are you holding down a job this entire time?
For a little while, yes.
Okay.
For a little while, I was able to. When I got real bad, I couldn't hold my job down because I would go to work for 3 days and I hadn't slept in between shifts.
Wow.
And I was a forklift driver.
Certified.
So here I am.
Certified.
Yeah.
Certified.
They didn't know they were in the presence of a certified
Getting that
forklift
pussy
driver.
all the time.
Yeah.
So, here I am driving a forklift around, and I've been awake for 4 days. And even though I was wide awake, your body has to sleep. You've been awake for so long that you can't even tie your shoes.
Yeah.
But you can't sleep because you're on meth. But your mind and your body is so deprived of nutrients and rest that you can't even hardly open your car door.
Do you, in this process, are you trying to go to sleep and you're just? So it reminds me of powder, where like you're just listening to your heartbeat go while you're trying to go to sleep.
Yeah,
Similar, similar situation.
I would try.
Yeah.
But the come down off of meth is absolutely insane. There's a clinical term called meth psychosis.
Yeah.
And you literally go into like a psychosis where you think there's demons. I mean, absolutely insane, dude. I mean, it's scary, dude. Like, just insane.
Okay, so you mentioned in the video that started this whole process of you coming on the show, of you having some scars on your body and stuff. What makes people itch on methamphetamine?
So, okay, so it's not when you see a tweaker that's like on the street or like a crackhead and they're like doing all this. Yeah. I never got to that point. That's like they say on Fool's Gone Wild, like years of abuse.
Yeah. But what causes the? I've always the funny term to me is itchy blood. Is that a thing?
No. So what it is, and I remember Googling it like when I was using, like trying to figure out what it is, and from what I found on the internet at the time was crystal meth is extremely toxic and poisonous to your body.
Right.
And so when you ingest it, your body is trying to get rid of it. But because you're not eating, you're not shitting it out. Because you're not drinking water, you're not really peeing it out. So
dude, that's a good fucking point. I never even thought of that shit. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, so it will excrete the methamphetamine through your sweat and through your pores. There's been times since I've gotten clean that I'll be in a gas station bathroom and I'll smell somebody sweating out dope.
Really?
Yeah.
You're a goddamn bloodhound, dude.
Yeah. and so it would develop like boils or like little like a little thing on your skin, and when you're tweaking, you're so like zoned in.
Yeah.
And you'll sit there. I mean, I would sit there for hours picking at one spot.
But what is the spot? What makes you start a spot?
A little scratch. Or something. Just something where I think I could squeeze something out.
Okay, so you might have like a pimple or some shit, and you'll just go after.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Dude, that makes so much more sense. That fucking. I've always wondered why do these motherfuckers got sores and shit. I know meth doesn't cause that. It's them just being bored and fucking going after themselves.
Exactly.
Hell
exactly.
yeah. Okay.
So I never had it on my face. For me, it was real bad on my arms and my shoulders. But somebody.
How okay?
A guy will have an.
Can I ask a weird question? Man to
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
How often you jerking off on meth?
So,
That needed a swig of beer.
So he has an answer. So he has an answer.
Yeah.
So
It was a quick. Okay, so
okay, so I'll get to that in a second, but back to the picking, okay? Like when you see people real bad with it on their face,
Yeah.
A guy will have like an ingrown hair,
And
and
he'll
he'll lean
go
into that
after
mirror.
it. Yeah.
and he'll be doing this for hours.
Fun story. You want to hear a
Okay.
fun story?
Yeah.
I went up to Oklahoma, right? Real bad meth area, right? And this was back when I was in my Uyghur phase, right? I had chains. And my buddy's like, give me one of your chains.
Young Burley.
Yeah, Young Burley was a rapper, DJ Trisket. Yeah, white chocolate, hell yeah. Anyways, so my buddy's like, give me one of your chains. We're staying at one of his buddy's house. He's from Oklahoma. He moved to Houston. We went up there. Anyways, it's a meth house. Like, this dude was stirring a pot. And I'm like, why are you stirring so slow? He's like, if I hit the sides, this friction might blow the house up. I'm like, God, what the fuck is going on here? You know? And this is where I'm sleeping, okay? So he said, give me one of your chains. Okay, cool. I hand them to him. He breaks it into 3 pieces, just totally snaps my chains, right? Puts it on the coffee table. He said, just wait till morning. Next morning, I wake up. You could not tell that those chains were ever broken, dude. This dude just sat there, just tediously, beep, beep, beep.
Oh, yeah.
Just fucking with it. And he fixed
Yeah.
it. And
Oh,
it looked perfect. It was crazy. So I get what you're saying there. We're like, you zone in on something, you fucking go, you know?
Dude, I would have, of course, you know, I was selling drugs too, you know, and I would get a giant bag of weed. I would get a giant bag of weed and a giant bag of meth. And I would sit there with a scale and a bunch of little baggies that you can get at the smoke shop, you know?
Yeah, the
And I
baby
would-
Ziplocs.
Yeah. And I would weigh up like 50 10 sacks of weed, and then I would weigh up like 30 10 sacks of meth, and then I would like get them all like nice and like organize and like take pictures of
Yeah.
it and stuff, like to show my clients, and then I would put it all back in the big bag, and then I would reweigh it again, like just tweaking, just spun out, you know.
That's
It was
crazy.
insane, dude. Absolutely insane.
I'm only going to say this one time and one time only, and this is only because you understand it, Zach.
Yeah.
If you go to certain porn sites and you type in spun out, you can watch dicks get sucked with like these spun out chicks. It's fucking awesome.
I'm just gonna take your word for it.
All right, I'm just throwing that out there. Anyways, okay.
I'm just gonna take your word for it.
So you said you went from motorcycle gang to actual gang life. We are like 3 minutes past overtime. Are we good here?
Yeah, let me just give you the cliff notes. So so I ended up being so spun out and so bad on drugs that I end up quitting the motorcycle club / getting ousted from the motorcycle club.
How do you quit one? Is it a big deal?
It can be. It can be.
Okay.
But you know, I was bringing, you know, I'm running around town in my colors with, you know, stolen guns.
Oh, okay.
Like you know what I mean? Like I was, you know, like you can't be in the club and be a full blown drug addict.
You
And I was
were
trying to
Opie.
balance it.
You were Opie. I'm so proud of you.
No. No. But and at this point, I'm hanging out with like full on drug addicts. Like I'm hanging out with heroin addicts that are shooting up heroin in the bathroom at the park.
Are these people that you knew before, or just through your connects?
These were people that I met through
Okay.
acquiring drugs.
Yeah.
That I met through drugs. And I'm homeless at this point.
Wait, can you? Oh shit! I know we're running out of time. God damn it! How does that happen? How does that happen? Do you're just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna keep using. We'll figure it out, or
So, I'm living at a house, and I got my girlfriend left me, and so I'm at this house. I'm not working. I'm not paying rent. We got no power. We got no water. I'm on like a 6-month drug bender in this house.
and at that point, like, while you're using, are you just being like, fuck it?
Pretty much.
Really?
I was so addicted. It just, I was so miserable in my life, and I was so pathetic that the only way I could feel better at the time, short term, was to use.
Can I ask you this question? Because I've had this very same thought in my brain whenever I was using. I was like, yeah, I could keep this going for another 40 years.
I don't think I wasn't even.
I was a powder guy. I should say that.
Yeah. See, Coke's a totally different animal.
But it was daily.
Yeah.
Can you imagine an 8-ball a day? Because that was me. I'm not bullshitting.
Well, no. I mean, were you scared to get out of the club?
No, I wasn't scared to get out. I think I was.
Like there's things that you can't talk about now. So
do you think Opie's scared? Fuck no.
Oh, well, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, the stuff that I can't talk about now, it's not like I'm holding secrets that would put people in prison. It's nothing like that. It's just
it's your friends still. They're your friends,
right? Yeah. There's some of those gentlemen that I still
okay. Maybe I worded it wrong, but
and club business is club business, and I'm not a part of the club no more, so therefore it's not my business. Like, you know what I mean?
But you're not worried. But you're not worried. Like, but are you worried that if you said something somewhere, not necessarily on the podcast, but just said something somewhere, that it would get back, and then like the repercussions, or
if I went around talking out of my ass, for sure, and I think that goes for anybody that was formerly in that life, if you go around running your mouth, and you could be talked to, for sure.
When do the tattoos hit the face?
When I was in jail, I got my face tattooed.
God damn, I feel like we fast forwarded it a lot.
Okay, so
you know what? So we're past, unless you have like a very fast forwarded to this, he's gonna have to come back on.
It might be. Do we need to do a part 2 next week?
Right? Do we have to do a part 2 of this? Because
I'll do a part 2
next week. Are you down?
I mean,
7 days from now, are you ready for a part 2?
I'll do a part 2
next week.
Next Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, because right now we're kind of getting to like some good stories. I got stories about.
Okay, if you can 100% say you're in for part 2 next week, because we didn't even get to the Rage and Pillage questions or the music.
Yeah, I feel like we have this. This could be more than a part 2.
Yeah, you got a fucking life. All right, you know what? Let's do it. Like, if you're down, I'm gonna cancel the person next week, and we're gonna make this happen. You in?
Yeah, let me.
Check that calendar. Check that calendar
right now. Freaking the 22nd. Next Thursday is the 22nd.
Si, senor. You in?
I'm in, dude.
All right, dude. Tell people where the fuck they can find you, dude. You're so goddamn interesting.
I'm saying.
Well, yeah. So next week we'll pick up, where I was basically really getting deep into my addiction.
Where can they find you though? Like, where can they find your social medias? And,
okay.
And your dick pics and all that good stuff.
Yeah. For the dick pics, you're gonna need super zoom and hit up my wife. So Instagram, Brothah Max Barbecue. That's BROTHAH_Max_BBQ. That's Instagram. I got my cooking on there. I got my whatever, my BS on there. I've recently gotten into hunting, so I post hunting stuff now. TikTok, same thing. Brothah Max Barbecue on TikTok.
Josh, do not let me forget to talk about the hunting because I'm really interested in that too because I just saw that.
Sweet.
Yeah, dude. I've just gotten into it, and I'm 100 on it, dude. Yeah.
Dude, thank you so fucking much for coming on. Josh, hit your fucking plugs, dude.
Awesome. You already know, everybody. JDS_BBQ_pit. No. See, I do that every fucking
You already
time.
know, motherfuckers.
You know what?
You already know.
You know what? You already know. You already know. I'm too drunk. Let's just fucking piss off on it.
Wait, no, just say it, dog.
I lose followers on this, so it doesn't even matter.
No, that's just being associated with Burley.
Have a good night, everybody.
Hey guys, if y'all like what y'all heard, fucking follow Burley Rage on Instagram now. I just switched over. I'm no longer Burley Boy Barbecue. I'm the artist formerly known as Burley Boy Barbecue. I'm Burley Rage now. So find me on there. Fucking, if you want to call into the show, ask this man some questions. You got a goddamn week. Ask this man some questions. You can call into the show. Leave a voicemail, 210-570-0290. Leave this man some questions. He'll answer them. Am I right, Zach?
Yes, sir.
Oh, hell yeah. Can we get one of these?
Oh, hell yeah.
Where'd the button go? Oh, there it went.
Give me a hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. So, you can find the fucking podcast on Rage and Pillage Pod on fucking Instagram. What's the Instagram, or the Facebook? Josh, what is it? Rage and Pillage Podcast on Facebook,
it's Rage
right?
and Pillage Podcast on Facebook.
Hell yeah. Yo, you fucking queers jump on there and fucking we'll have a good time. Post whatever you want. I don't give a fuck what you post in the group. Post it in the goddamn group. If it's a bunch of whores, let's go.
There are no rules.
There's no rules. I don't give a fuck, dude. I do not give a fuck. Zach,
No
thank
rules.
you. Next week, we in?
Hell yeah. Yes,
Let's
sir.
fucking go.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, brother. See you next week, dude.
All right, Bubba.
Later.
Have a good one, Josh.
See ya.
All right, bro.